The overthinker. This is not a formal diagnosis, but a cognitive pattern where the mind gets stuck on a thought, playing it over and over like a broken record. Psychologists break this down into two main categories: rumination and worry. Rumination is being stuck in the past, the mental act of repetitively dissecting events that have already happened. It fixates on what went wrong and why, asking unanswerable questions that deepen self-criticism. Worry, on the other hand, is being stuck in the future, an endless parade of what-if scenarios. It is a form of mental rehearsal for catastrophe. The core motivation behind overthinking is a deep-seated need for safety and control, a defense mechanism driven by anxiety. This is not the same as deep thinking. Productive self-reflection leads to insight and growth. Overthinking is a repetitive, destructive loop that leads to distress and paralysis. Second, the highly sensitive person, HSP. This is not a disorder or a flaw, but an innate temperament trait coined by psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron. Its scientific term is sensory processing sensitivity, or SPS, and it is found in about 15 to 20% of the population. An HSP's brain is wired differently, with a nervous system that processes physical and emotional stimuli more deeply. This is not about having better senses. It is about what the brain does with the information it receives. Because they process so much data from their environment, they are naturally prone to overstimulation. A loud, chaotic event can feel like a full-on assault to an HSP's nervous system, which is why they require significant solitude to recharge. Their overthinking is a direct result of this deep processing. Replaying a conversation is not just driven by anxiety, but by a brain making sense of the vast, subtle information it has absorbed. The core motivation is not control, but understanding and connection, often linked to high levels of affective empathy. Next, the narcissist. Narcissism exists on a spectrum, with the pathological end being narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, and a profound lack of empathy. The entire psychological structure of the narcissist is built around maintaining a fragile sense of self-worth. This can manifest as the arrogant, grandiose narcissist, or the harder-to-spot vulnerable narcissist, who can appear insecure or hypersensitive. The confusion with HSPs comes from the narcissist's own brand of hypersensitivity. This sensitivity, however, is exclusively directed at anything that could be a threat to their self-esteem, a narcissistic injury. This is the critical difference. An HSP sensitivity is based in empathy, feeling with and for others. A narcissist's sensitivity is based in ego, feeling attacked or diminished by others. Their rumination is entirely self-referential, analyzing how they were perceived, cataloging slights, and fueling resentment or envy. The most telling differentiator is empathy. The narcissist has a significant deficit in affective empathy. They may possess cognitive empathy, the ability to intellectually understand what someone is feeling, but they do not share the feeling, allowing them to manipulate situations for their own benefit. Understanding these patterns is not about labeling, but about identifying the correct pathway for management. The strategies are fundamentally different. For the overthinker, the goal is to break the cycle of repetitive negative thinking. Interventions from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, such as scheduling worry time or challenging distorted thoughts, are used to interrupt the anxiety loop. For the highly sensitive person, the goal is not to become less sensitive, but to manage energy and protect the nervous system from overstimulation. This requires mastering the art of boundaries, learning to say no and taking guilt-free time to decompress. For pathological narcissistic traits, simple self-help strategies are insufficient due to a lack of self-awareness. Genuine change almost always requires long-term psychotherapy. Therapies like schema therapy can help individuals understand the roots of their reactions and, over time, develop healthier ways of relating to others.